Hey, my name is Sean B2, and this is the deck gameplay video for Temur Scepter, mid-range Temur deck that tries to utilize Jessica and Thrasios and infinite mana to win. Thank you guys for watching, and hope you enjoy. Let's get into the first hand for the deck gameplay portion. We'll draw here. We'll see what we got. We got a Mox Diamond. We only have one land though, but we do have a Ponder to kind of filter for a second land, so I think I'm gonna keep this anyways. We're gonna hit, and we will draw an Alchemist Refuge. I think it is a little bit better than a Burden Stone. It kind of allows you to cast spells with Flash at any time. So our first turn, we're gonna go Mox Diamond, discarding this. And we kind of have two options. We can Ponder or Sylvan Library. I'm gonna Ponder and try to see if I can get another land. Ponder, reveal the top three. Yeah, so we're able to hit a second land. We'll put it on top. We probably want to draw this Elvish Mystic over the snap. Then we will draw a card. So, yep, we draw that Polluted Delta. We go to our second turn. We do have Pact and Negation, Force Negation up. Not right now, though, because we do another blue card. If we're able to draw one, we will have it up. So, then we'll play a Polluted Delta. Tap. Sacrifice. Probably just search our deck for a... We need double green, so we'll search our deck for a Taiga, I guess. We want some red mana. Actually, no, we want blue for Alchemist Refuge, so search for Tropical Island. Put that into play. Shuffle our library. We have up to 3 mana right now. I'm probably just going to go tap to play Elvish Mystic, and then tap to play Sylvan Library. If you want to play Thrasios, you could, but I think this is the better play. Set this up for additional mana plus ramp, or plus card draw. So next turn we draw the top 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm probably just going to choose to keep Frantic Search and Vexing Shusher. We're going to take a life for our fetch land, so we'll get into 35 here. We'll take 4 from Sylvan Library. We're set up to cast a Frantic Search if we want, draw 3 more cards. We can wait to do that till our opponent's turn, try to set up for a counter spell, but obviously I'm not playing against any people, I'm just play testing the deck and showing off sample hands, so I'm just going to cast it during my main phase. We're going to have to untap 3 lands, so we'll go to cast something else. We'll draw 2, discard 2. Probably don't need Eternal Witness right now. Noxious Survival is just going to be better, and then we probably don't need this next land. We'll go untap. We will keep this Pact Negation because it turns our Force of Negation on. Then we can cast a Vexing Shusher, or we can just play our Commander Thrasios, and yeah, we're probably just going to do that. Tap. Leave up some additional mana. Next turn, we're going to draw 3. We have Runic Armasaur, again, pretty powerful creature. It kind of gives you a green card draw card that you don't really normally get in green. So we're planning to keep that. We probably will keep Fierce Guardianship. Obviously, Nature's Claim if your opponents are playing. If you think you need to kill if you think you're playing like a deck like Godo and you need to kill a Helm of the Host, you probably should keep this Nature's Claim. But for now, I'm just going to put it on top of my library and go down to 31. And then we gotta untap. Yeah, next turn. Whoops, okay. So we're in the right spot now, turn 4. Not the fastest hand, but obviously this is not supposed to be the fastest deck. It's mostly supposed to just control the board, and as you can see, we have 3 counter spells in our hand, and a Vexing Shusher. So we can probably tap to play Vexing Shusher. This allows us to activate, so if our opponent's casting anything big, we can Force Negation and make it uncounterable. We can Fierce Guardianship, make it uncounterable. So we're in a pretty solid spot. This is kind of where we want to be. From here, we basically just need to control the board. We have Noxious Revival to bring back any of our counter spells or bring back anything already in the graveyard. So we want a Frantic Search or Eternal Witness again, then we can bring those back. We'll probably play out one more turn here, so next turn, 1, 2, 3. And yeah, we even drew another removal spell. Bloom Tender is going to be pretty good here. Obviously, this is going to be a little bit slow because it doesn't have haste, but it can add 3 mana per mana pool, which is pretty good. Probably just going to put Nature's Claim back. We don't really need another removal spell, so we'll put Dispel back, or another counter spell. And we'll go tap, tap. And we have a lot of mana right now. We have actually decent blockers because Thrasios can block a lot of the low mana creatures in Tymna decks. So we're probably just going to end it here. We have the right stuff to kind of win the game and just delay our opponents. Play that control aspect. We also have Jessica out of the command zone if our opponents are playing low mana creatures and we want to destroy them with her -X ability. So yeah, move on to probably one or two more sample hands. Let's restart this. Okay, so we have a Dryad Arbor, a Windswept Heath, Chrome Mox, Spire Garden. Yeah, we're probably going to keep this. I don't know what we're going to pitch to Chrome Mox. Probably a Brainstorm. Maybe actually a Dryad Arbor. So we'll draw, I believe, no, Dryad Arbor is not a spell, so you cannot do that. So actually we'll just pitch a Narcissus Reversal. We'll play a Dryad Arbor, we'll play a Windswept Heath actually, search our deck for a Taiga. Put that into play, lose a life. And we can now start ramping. We can cast Llanowar Elves, then we can cast Brainstorm. Draw 3, put 2 back on top. Probably going to put this Dryad Arbor back on top. And that's actually a misplay on my part. We should have waited to Windswept Heath. We should have just played a Spire Garden. Because then we can shuffle away the cards we didn't want. So that's my mistake there. We're probably going to put back a Spire Garden. Then we'll go to next turn, we will draw. I'm going to put Spire Garden on top, that's what I find. So we have a decent number of plays we can do here. Probably just going to play a land. Actually you can just go tap, Thrasios, tap, Birds of Paradise. Put ourselves in a pretty good spot. We have a lot of early mana. We're soon going to start cycling Thrasios abilities during our opponent's turns to search for cards we can use with Force of Will. So I'll move on to next turn. We drew that Spire Garden. As I said, I should have shuffled away this. Make sure whenever you brainstorm or ponder, or even not really preordained, but when you do those, you want to have your fetch land out afterwards so you can shuffle your deck and not have to draw 2 cards that you've already seen. I did make that mistake. Probably going to play this Tropical Island into play. That was already in play and I put in my hand for some reason. I don't know why I did that. Play this Spire Garden. So yeah, 3 lands, right? And now we have 6 mana up. During one of our opponent's turn, if they were casting and we want to counter, we can tap, not turn over. Tap, reveal the top scry, the top card. We don't really need another land, so I'll probably just put this on the bottom. And then we will reveal the top card. That's not what and it's a Neoform, so yeah, so we can actually Force of Will if we want. We can counter our opponent's spells by exiling Force of Will because it is a blue card. So, yeah. So now we're in a really good spot here again. We drew a Chain of Vapor off the top. We probably can just play this Dryad Arbor now. If we want it, doesn't really matter that much. We do have Alchemist Refuge. So we can Neoform any of our creatures away. Probably can Neoform something like a Llanowar Elves, tap. Actually, let's do this differently. Let's tap this Chrome Mox, tap. Sacrifice this, Neoform. Search our deck for a Dockside Extortionist, obviously a combo piece. But just in general, a pretty powerful creature. I would say turn 4, you get at least 4 treasures, if not more, depending on the decks you're playing against. Some decks a little bit more artifacts, some decks a little bit less. But yeah, we have counter spells online. We have Chain of Vapor if we want to do that. We have Thrasios abilities. We have 2 activations. So during our opponent's turn, we'll go tap. Activate Thrasios. Scry 1. We're not really in a Magus of the Moon setup right now. We could do it, but then we lose access to green mana, so we're not going to do it. We're going to just put this on the bottom. And then we're going to reveal the top card. Swan Song. So yeah, another counter spell. We're still with Force of Will. Then we have one more Thrasios activation if we just sacrifice these treasures. Scry 1. We can, if we want Cyclonic Graph, we obviously can put it in our hand. I'm just going to put it into the bottom for the sake of this video. Draw a card, we draw Ponder, and yeah, we'll move on to next turn. In a really good spot, as you can see, we have a lot of counter spells. Once you get Thracios out, you can just cycle through them. And when you're in this spot right here, when you have counter spells in hand, when you have Thracios on the battlefield, you should just be able to win. Remember, you can always just cut early on in the game, because especially after you cast Thracios once, she becomes even better, where she can -2 and kill 3 creatures, kill a Timna, kill 2 other creatures, kill a Dockside if you're playing a Dockside combo similar to this deck. So yeah, so you should be able to find your Isochron Scepter to combo or your Temur Sabertooth combo from here. So probably just going to move on to our final playtest. We have a decent hand. We actually have two weekend. This is a pretty good hand. We have Gilded Drake. We have 2 tutors early on. We have Veil of Summer for some stack interaction. We have Dispel to counter an instant to keep this. Draw Nature's Claim. Tap. Actually, we don't want to take a life here, so we'll just play Worldly Tutor. And we're going to search our deck for most likely a Dockside Extortionist, and we're going to, because we have Court of the Calling, so we can go for a Dockside plus Temur Sabertooth combo for the win here. Put that into our hand. Shuffle our library up. Move on to next turn. So here, depending on what your opponents are playing, you can cast a Gilded Drake if you want. If they play any good creatures. I'm probably just going to go with a Thracios though. Start setting up for a later game setup. Obviously, if there's a certain instant you want, you can Mystical Tutor for it. There's not as much fast mana in this hand, but as long as we get to 1 red land, we should be good. Or we can Gilded Drake for a creature that produces red mana, whatever that be, like a Birds of Paradise. So next turn, yep, and we draw Carpulsian Forest. So we can't really Court of Calling yet. That's more of a later game thing. We will play Dockside, as I said. Turn 3, you probably should get at least 3 treasures. We have counter spells. We have removal spells. We have Nature's Claim to protect our counter spells and our creature spells. So yeah, we probably can just go tap, play Gilded Drake, steal whatever their best creature is. We'll just move this off to the side. We'll turn it over. Steal whatever the best creature on the board is, whether it be a commander, whether it be a ramp creature. And so yeah, we're pretty close to assembling our combo. Move on to our weekend Mystical Tutor if we want to search for a Force of Will so we can have more stacks, more interaction on the stack. And next turn we're going to see. So we need to have X equal 4 at the moment. Oh yeah, we have enough with Court of the Calling, so we can just cast Court of the Calling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I would recommend Mystical Tutoring for a counter spell, because then you can make sure you protect your Temur Sabertooth and your Dockside. Or if you just have 4 treasures up, you can start to combo off. Here I don't, but so we'll just make sure we'll move on to our next turn, just demonstrate the combo. If you did Mystical Tutor, you have Dispel, you have Mystical Tutor, and you have Veil of Summer up. Basically making it so your opponents can't counter anything. And so you're set up to protect your combo until the next turn. Let's say we just move on to the next turn. Our opponents haven't killed anything. We've used our protection, and then we're gonna do Temur Sabertooth, pay 2 mana, just sack. Why is there? I have no idea. This should be in the graveyard. Sack 2 treasures. Activate Temur Sabertooth. Bring this to our hand. Cast it. Sack. Pay 2 mana. Tap. And as long as we're able to create 5 treasures, and we're on turn 5, so probably gonna be able to do that 1, 2. I need to create 1 more. Add token treasure. We create infinite mana by putting this in our hand. Then we're gonna Temur Sabertooth, putting it into our hand, recasting it, infinite mana. So we have 2 options. We can Thracios, just draw our deck, or we can just Jessica, cast Jessica, ping our opponents, cast Jessica, ping our opponents, cast Jessica, ping our opponents. And that's how this deck works. So it's a mid-range control deck that aims to utilize creature combos and Ice-Crown Scepter combo to win the game by either drawing your entire deck through Thrasios or using Jessica to control the board by killing small creatures and then casting her at the end as a win condition. Remember, biggest part is counter spells. You're going to want to be playing the stack a lot. You're going to want to be getting some fast mana out. And so that's basically the deck. Thank you guys for watching, and hope you enjoyed.